Hey guys, now that we can register, we're going to create login and logout functionality. Okay, so first thing I want to do is look at this form, this login form up here, which is in our header. So if we're in views, we can go to layouts, includes, header, and let's just make sure it's going to the right place, which it's not. So as you can see, we have our form tag, but we have no action. So this is going to be method equals post and then action. We're going to use the base URL. And it's going to go to the user's controller and then login. Alright, so that should do it. Make sure you have the name username, name password, submit. Alright, so save that. Actually, one more thing I wanted to do here in the header is this create account link. It's going to user/register. It should actually be users, plural. Alright, so save that. Okay, now we can get out of here. And we're going to go to the user's controller and create a new function. And I would suggest that you fully comment your code, especially your methods and your classes. I'm not doing every single method with a comment just to save time, but it's just good practice. Alright, so login, we're going to do the same thing that we did with register. We're going to use the form validation class. I'm just going to copy this for username and password. And then here I'm going to paste that in. For username, trim is good, required is good, minimum and max, fine. Same thing with password, except we don't need actually we don't even have matches. Yeah, so that's fine. Alright. So I'm going to grab the input, the username and password, and put them in a variable. So username is equal to this input post username. And I think I have already told you, but this here is the exact same as using this. Okay, so if you've used this, you're familiar with post superglobals. It's the same exact thing. This is just CodeIgniter's version using the input library, which is a little more secure as well. Alright, so now let's get the password. And this is going to be encoded in MD5. That's how it is in the database, so that's how it is when we want to match it. And this should be password. Alright, so next we're going to use the user model. I'm going to create a variable called user ID, and that's going to equal to this user model login, and we're going to pass in our username and password. Alright, and then down here I'm going to paste this in to save time, and I'll just explain. So basically we're assigning the return value of the login function from in the model to user ID. If this runs and works and whatever it matches, this will equal the user ID. If it doesn't, then this will equal false. So we're checking it here. Alright, so if this model login function works, then this will run. If not, then this will run. Alright, so what we're doing here is creating a data array with the user ID, the username, and we're also setting this logged in to true. So this logged in is what we're going to check when we want to see if the user is actually logged in or not. Then right here, what we're doing is just storing this data into a session using this set user data function. Alright, and then down here we're doing flash data again. It's just a message that says you're logged in, and we're redirecting to products, which is basically the home page. And then here, if it didn't run and there were no matches or the login was wrong, we're going to set flash data for fail login and send them an error message, and then redirect to products, and they will not be logged in. Now, before we actually, I'm going to save this, but before we actually try it, I want to make it so that when we're logged in, this form is no longer visible. All we should have is a log out button. Alright, so let's do that now, and that is in header. So we want to go to includes, views includes header, and find that form, which is right here, and we're going to check to see if that is logged in value is true. Okay, so PHP, and we're going to say if not, this session user data logged in. Okay, so if we're not logged in, we want to show this form. Okay, and then we want to say else then we want to show a logout form. So I'm going to paste this in. Okay, so it's just a form. The action goes to users logout, which we'll create in a minute, and then it's just a button that says logout. Okay, so let's save that, and before we do anything, let's go ahead and create the logout, which we'll do in the users controller. Okay, and this is really simple function. All we're doing is unsetting all the data, the user data array. So the logged in will be unset, user ID, username, and then we'll actually destroy the entire session and then redirect to products. Alright, so let's go ahead and try this. Okay, if we go home and I enter anything, call to undefined method user, oh, we didn't create the model function yet. So in user model, I'm going to paste in my my login function. Alright, so basically it's just going to, we're going to say this DB where username equals whatever we pass in and password equals whatever we pass in. Alright, and then we're saying result equals get, so that'll give us our result row. If result num rows is equal to 1, then we're going to return the result row, basically the ID. We're going to return the user's ID. If not, we're going to return false. And that's why this function here is able to work, alright, if user ID. So let's try that out. Alright, so it didn't log us in, but we need a message here. We need to display our flash data. So let's go back and see what goes on here. Set flash data, fail login. So we need to output this message, and it's going to be in the products view. So let's go there, and let's go ahead and under this, let's paste in this, and we're saying if flash data pass login, then we're going to spit that out. If fail login, then we're going to spit that out. So if we save that and reload this and just try to log in with anything, we get sorry, the login is not valid. Alright, so let's look at our users table. Alright, now Brad should actually be encrypted, but we added this before we even added the user class. So Let's copy this. I believe it's the same password, just encrypted. Alright, username is Brad, so let's go ahead and try that. Alright, so that didn't work. You know what, let's just register a new account. So in my users table, I'm going to get rid of this test user. Alright, and we'll create a new account. This will be John Doe username, we'll say jdoe, password 12345, which should be encrypted. Alright, register. Okay, we're now registered and we can log in. So now let's go up here, say jdoe 12345, and we're now logged in, and you can see a logout button. So that's working absolutely perfect. Alright, and if we click log out, we log out. So now that our user system is implemented, I want to hide a few things here. This create account, if we're logged in, I want that to be hidden because we already created an account. So in the header file, let's find, whoops, that's not header, this is header. Okay, so here's that create account. And again, all we need to do to check if someone's logged in is say if this session user data logged in. Okay, well, actually we want to show this if the user is not logged in, so we're just going to put an exclamation point here, and then we'll say PHP and if. Alright, save that, reload. We're not logged in, so we see the create account, but let's go ahead and log in. Was it jdoe? And now the create account link is gone. Alright, so let's try to add to cart. That works good. If we go to the cart, now for this here, I don't want this shipping info stuff or this checkout button to be shown if we're logged in. I'm sorry, if we're not logged in. Alright, so let's actually log out, go back to the cart. Let's add something to the cart now. Now when you log out, you destroy the session, all sessions, and your cart is also in a session. So if you log out, your cart gets destroyed as well. Alright, which is normal functionality on most e-commerce sites. Alright, so let's go to the cart. Now we're not logged in, so I don't want to see this. I just want a create account button if the user is not logged in. Alright, so let's go to our, I think it's our cart view. And right above down here, right above the shipping info H3, I'm just going to paste this in. So we're saying if the session, if they're not logged in, then we're going to show this register button and just give them a message. If they are, we're going to show all this. So let me just end this down here. I'm going to right before the form, I believe. Yeah, right before the form will end it. Okay, so let's try that, reload. Now we're not logged in, so we have a create an account button, which goes to register. Alright, if we are logged in, and we go to our cart, we have our form and checkout button. Alright, and one more thing. Let's see. Actually, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So all we have left to do now is to implement the PayPal class so that it'll actually take us to PayPal with our cart intact so that the user can pay.